I'm Christy Wilcox from the Scioto Foundation. I'm the UCAN advisor. And this video today is part 2 in our series of scholarship application walkthrough. Part 1, we covered how to find the application online and how to create a profile. And in this part 2, we're going to be covering the instructions to our scholarship application. So now that you've logged in and you've created your profile, you are going to come to the landing page. With the landing page, you select Continue Application, and this is the landing page. This is where it takes you. This is the first page of the General Scholarship Application. Now, with that, we're just going to go through these things one by one. So what is this? Who needs to fill out the scholarship application? Well, the students who need money for school. And those of you who are paying the bill, the school is going to issue a bill and you're going to pay the bill. So if you owe money to the school, you need money for school. It doesn't matter how you're getting the money. You could be working, you could get a student loan, you could get other scholarships, you could get scholarships from that particular institution. That being said, if you have more than enough scholarships and grants to cover the cost of the school, then you no longer need money for the school. Our checks, our scholarship checks, get sent to the school on your behalf. You're not going to get a check. So therefore, there has to be a bill. The next section is pro tips. With the pro tips, these are all the things that are going to help you match a scholarship, which means actually have a chance of getting a scholarship. With that, the number one mistake that students make year after year is self-identifying as a high school senior when they are not. And how this happens is first you do this application as a high school senior and you're going to complete it out and you're going to answer the question correctly. Yes, I'm a high school senior. Then in subsequent years, a lot of those data points, the things that you answered last year, it's kind of nice. You don't have to re-enter year after year. However, in this particular question, you'll be returning and then you'll forget to say that you are no longer a high school senior. So you're going to have to switch. When you're a college sophomore, junior, senior, or even higher up, you need to switch that, okay, and turn off the section that you are no longer a high school senior. The reason that is that the way the application is designed is kind of a choose your own adventure. So the students who select high school senior, they're going to get questions related to high school, their high school clubs, their high school athletics, things like that. As soon as you're now a college student, the prompts are going to change and they will change to your college clubs and your college athletics. Each time you return, you'll have to update. But it's nice because you don't have to redo that high school information year after year. It's already locked in. With that, the same thing's true with the other questions. Keep updating them and check them each time. This is your application, so it's up to you to read each question and make sure that it is current. On the application, you're going to see questions regarding your major. There's major, dual major, and minor. And the reason that we have them listed like that is the major is the one that's weighted the heaviest. So when it comes time to match the students' applications to the scholarships, it's going to select the major first, okay? Then the match will happen. And if that particular scholarship has no matches or too few applicants, then we will go ahead and match with the dual major. We'll do the rematch again. If there's enough applicants, great. If there's not enough, then we'll go down to minors. So you want to make sure that your major, your first major, is the one that you wanted, that is weighted the heaviest and the one that you wanted under consideration with the scholarship match. Undecided. If you select undecided, you will not match any scholarships that have a major specific. If you are 100% undecided, I have no idea what I want to major in, that's fine. Select undecided. There's loads of scholarships that don't even have anything to do with majors. However, because there's some that are like STEM specific or education specific, if you're just undecided between two things that are very, very similar, or maybe you're not sure about a subcategory. So I want to be a teacher. I'm not sure if I want to be a math teacher or a science teacher. I should just select education. Same thing's true for business. If I am thinking, I'm not sure if I want to be an accountant or if I want to be in finance, just select business, and that's perfectly fine. Same thing's true for engineering. There's several majors where there's subcategories. Just pick the main category. If you pick other, that's going to trigger an audit, which is fine. Just type in, it's going to ask you, if you select other, it's going to give you a blank of what is your major, and you can just type it in, and then I can add it to the list, and you'll have it next year. Next section is the preparation checklist. This is what's going to make your application, the filling out of it, go more smoothly. So if you these are all things that you're going to need for your application. Your transcripts, you need to talk to your parents and know an estimate of your family household income. If you've completed the FAFSA, so there is a component of this application because there's a component of several scholarships. And the scholarships, the criteria for the scholarships, they're not arbitrary. A donor somewhere gave money for your scholarship. And with that, if there was a financial aid portion to it, that's where we're going to ask you about finances. Okay. Now, any person who has finances in a certain category needs to upload their FAFSA information. So if you've completed your FAFSA before starting the application, that's going to go a little faster. Okay. Your current scholarships that you've already been awarded. So if you're in high school and you've applied to a particular college and they've given you a certain award package, you just need to be able to type that out, have a list running. If you've got grants, whether they're GI Bill, whether they're Pell, anything like that, if you have the FAFSA completed, write down what you have, and that way you can input them right into the application. With that, you need email addresses for your letters of recommendation. And each time you will have in the application a prompt to list somebody. So if you indicate that you're a high school athlete, there will be a prompt for a coach. And with that, you need to know your coach's name and their email address so that they can get the prompt for them to fill out your letter of recommendation. Everything's going to be electronically based. Another thing that's going to be helpful to have on hand is going to be a photo of yourself. With the photo of yourself, you're going to want to have something that's somewhat professional, not meaning a professional took the photograph, more of a professional representation of yourself, okay? Please avoid the bathroom selfies. There are students who take bathroom selfies. This picture is going to be probably shown on Facebook next to a donor's name and a scholarship. If you get awarded a scholarship, we're going to share that photo, okay? And it's going to become part of our marketing. So make it classy. Now, with that, the next thing that will be helpful to have on hand to complete the application is if you are a music major. If you're a music major, there is going to be a live audition later on in the year, and they want to have a YouTube video audition to have attached to your application. So if you have that short video available, then you can just submit it into the application. That makes it easier. And then you can see why, when you need all these things for the application, why you need to start the application early. The next section of the instructions is about the account security. Okay, now with this, you've already completed your online profile. You've done the two-factor authentication. So you need to know that the reason that they do that is they want to keep your information private. Okay, just you filling it out, and then the selection committee that selects the scholarships or the particular scholarship. So with that, just know you can come back to your application multiple times. You do not have to complete this application in one sitting. However, if you happen to let your computer go idle, you walk away from it a while, after 45 minutes, it's going to log you out. Now, it's a little bit tricky. Sometimes there's a glitch with this. If you happen to have multiple tabs open on your browser, the clock is going to be ticking on the first one. So you could be starting, with the first with the first tab, and then, the other one is the one that's going to be, saving or recognizing your activity. So you need to make sure not to have, multiple tabs open. And then with that, if you happen to be working slowly in a section, maybe an essay question is taking you a little while, what you want to do is maybe go ahead and work in Microsoft Word or Google Docs or something like that, and then go copy and paste it in there. That way, the clock doesn't get you stuck on one essay, or just, save periodically, and that will help you along the way. If you have any trouble, just let us know. Okay. Now, with that, the way, once again, I've already said this, the application is kind of dynamic. There's over 63 questions that are on there that you may not see, depending on whether or not you select certain things. That being said, you're going to see a question, and if the question is required for submission, it's going to have a red asterisk next to it. So it won't even let you submit the application until you filled out the questions that have the red asterisk. With that, you're going to get a page that you're going to fill out questions on. It's not going to allow you to hit next unless you have completed all of those questions that are attached to rules. That's going to either open up or close certain questions. So those questions are highlighted in yellow. So you have to complete those in order to move on to the next page. There's a question, some students are like, why is it this question won't let me hit next and move on in the application? And then why is this one marked where I can't do till I submit? That's just what's happened. Letters of recommendation, it's huge, everybody. Absolutely huge. Over the last 5 years, we've had 204 students not get their application submitted because of letters of recommendation. So these are the helpful hints that are going to help you cross that hurdle. With that, you need to ask your recommenders in person. Don't just assume that everybody reads their emails, everybody's going to answer the questions. Give your recommenders a heads up, okay? Let's say you have to have a coach letter recommendation. Ask your coach, is it okay that I use you as a letter of recommendation or as a reference for my Scioto Foundation scholarship application? And they will say, yes or no. Many people have multiple emails. Maybe they give you a more professional email than the one that they've been using, things like that, so that they know that it will be coming. Explain to them that it is an email-based system, that they're going to get an email. The email is going to come from info@thesciotofoundation.org. So with that, they can look for that. Because it's kind of, I don't know, sometimes it's recognized as spam or junk. Make sure if they don't see it, that they check their spam or their junk folder. Now, you on your application have the ability to see if they have completed their letter of recommendation, whether it's pending or whether they withdrew their letter of recommendation. So in those 3 areas, you will know. And you will also get an email sent to you that says that they have completed the letter. If you do not see those things, you need to follow up with them and ask them. You can request that letter of recommendation. Okay, so maybe they didn't see it. You can go into your application, you can click send again, and then it will generate another email. They will need to open their email. They're going to need to follow the link, and then there's a PIN number that they're going to attach to their email. There will be another video up for the letters of recommendation, and you can even share that video with them, as we get a little further along in this series. Now, here is a stumbling block that a lot of students have, okay? When you are a college student, it is best to have a college professor write your letter of recommendation. And I know this is hard, especially if you're going to a big school and you're a sophomore and you've only been in school for a few months. You still need to get somebody that is a college professor, somebody who's familiar with your academics. If you can't get the professor because maybe you're at Ohio State and there's 600 people in the class, maybe you can get the teacher's assistant, okay, to write you, this letter of recommendation so you can fulfill this requirement. You just need, at a bare minimum, you're going to need to have 2 letters of recommendation. There are a few scholarships, and just a few, like 3 or 4, that need to have a 3rd letter of recommendation. And you'll see the prompt for that if that's the case. Contact and follow up. Use your personal email. The reason that we say that is many students will use a school-based email. And with that, if they are no longer going to that school, they no longer have access to that. Some of the schools you will. Most high schools and colleges, if you leave that college, if you're switching schools, you do not. So you will receive award notices. We might request additional information, or there are times where we go ahead and award a scholarship, and then we have a list of alternates And for those scholarships, we will also contact you by email to let you know that you were chosen as an alternate. The next thing is your home address. The home address that is on your application is the address that the award letters are mailed to. If you happen to move in the process, contact us and let us know, and we will talk you through the way to update that. Text messaging. Opt in for the text messaging. We may do a blast of text messages to let you know that awards are being dropped in onto your portal on the application site, and you will be able to log into your application. You won't be able to edit your application after you've submitted it. However, you'll be able to log into the Next Gen site to see if you were awarded a scholarship. And if you check the site periodically in the spring, you may find out that you were awarded a scholarship long before that letter ever arrives in the mail and long before they announce something at your graduation. You'll celebrate at your graduation, but you may find out a little bit earlier on. With that, the letter that goes in the mail is going to have instructions. You need to follow the instructions. It's going to ask for certain things. It's going to ask for your name, the school that you're going to, the address of where the check should go. Also, it's going to ask you for a bill from your school, and it's going to ask you for your school schedule, your class schedule. With that, if you have missing pieces of the puzzle, you may not receive the scholarship. So you need to include all of those items and send them into our office. And no, there have been students, and it's year after year, there's many students that this happens to, that they do not complete those things, okay? And then they do not receive the scholarship. Now, on the application, and this has been pretty boring, however, it is important information. You can see that this one's yellow. So highlighted in yellow, those are the questions that change the scholarship application. This one here, I have read and understand the following instructions. And if you'll notice just below this application is going to change. And it's going to say, which is very true, the students that have read, understand, and follow the directions above are far more likely to receive money for college. And that's absolutely true. And also, it tells you that there's free help, okay? This is me. I'm Christy Wilcox. I am free to you through the power of philanthropy. Somebody gave money so that you could have help, okay? It's part of the UCAN mission. UCAN is to help you plan, prepare, and pay for college. Okay, this is in the pay section. So know that I'm here and I am free. I can help you review your application and make sure that you haven't committed any of these fatal flaws that are listed in the instructions. Okay, and can help you with with the scholarship process. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, reach out to us. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about the next page of the application, okay, which is the applicant contact and information page. So with that, I just wanted to say, have a great day. Take care. Bye.